Yo, 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 what is up, guys? What is up? What is up? Good evening. It is a special evening edition of the Kickash podcast. I couldn't stay away, so here we are. Here we are. It is, again, of course, as usual with me, impromptu. I mentioned I wanted to do a review, obviously, of Evolution. I wasn't able to do the watch along, but I was able to catch up and watch the full pay per view itself and kind of catch up to real ish time. So pretty dope there. Gotta love the power of multi screens, right? But what up, dudes? What up? What up? Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. What up, Sai? I saw E here in the chat earlier. Uh, 1:47 a.m. That's crazy. What Comatose, what up? What up? It says Comatose, it says your timestamp is 1:47 a.m. So you're in the future, dude. That's pretty wild. What up though? And Sai, I appreciate you as always, my friend. The overlay is sick. I don't know how you do it, especially as quick as you do it, but you are amazing. You are the real MVP here. So shout out to you. And shout out to everyone watching on Twitter as well. There are a shit ton of options for review shows, for wrestling coverage, especially immediately after the show ends itself. So I appreciate everyone who is either piling in now or will be watching on replay because, like I said, there are a lot of after shows going on right now. A lot of people are tied up elsewhere. I debated because I think I mentioned to maybe Sean in the past or someone. I really don't like going live. Even like sometimes not even sometimes, the majority of the times I can't go live after a show ends, but I normally don't like to, even if I can, just because there's so many other big channels going live. And to be honest with you, it's not even like a competition thing. It's just of I like to hear from other people too, like and especially if I'm driving home, because a lot of times I'm working like my part time, so I'll be driving home listening to some reviews before I even watch the show. Um, but yeah, if I have a chance to watch it live, I like to kind of just take some time to digest the show, think about it. So, for instance, yesterday we were doing the All In um, watch along stream, which was fucking a marathon in and of itself. The My immediate feelings of the show, I think honestly still stay the same, thinking about it now, and thinking about it this morning while I was walking the dogs and shit. But man, the length of the show, I hate to be that person, but it really does make a difference. It really makes a difference because it allows you to get your emotions bottled in a certain amount of time frame that's not ludicrous. Like if we are 4, 5 hours into a show, there's just no excuse for that, in my opinion. There's no reason for that, and my happy medium for a weekly show is, like, an hour and a half to 2 hours. Hour and a half would be ideal, but 2 hours probably better with commercials and stuff. They have to for advertisers. I mean, it's annoying as hell, but it's a necessary evil, right? Just ask that Goldberg and Gunther match. I don't know about y'all, not to be all over the place starting off, but that main event with Gunther and Goldberg, I was walking the dogs, watching it on my phone, and all of a sudden, the shit goes to commercial. So I'm like, okay, motherfucker, that commercial was 4 minutes, and I'm pretty certain I was watching live. Maybe I was a few minutes behind, but dude, first of all, the fact that you have a commercial in a Goldberg match itself is kind of insane. The match was fine. Like it was a fine match. Um, for that reason, like I said, I have to go back and re-watch the full Saturday night's main event. Obviously, I was here with you guys watching All In, but just the ads, and they've got to do something about it. So when we get an opportunity to get a PLE, even though they are gonna have ads and shit like that, like if you can make it 3.5 to 4 hours max, I would say is a sweet spot, right? 3 hours is to me prime, and I think that's what it came in. Maybe tonight it came in at what 3.5 hours or so, and the pre-show is optional, right? So that adds to the absurdity if you're a fan being there live. But if you're at home, you have the option to watch or not watch that shit. So just I don't know, some immediate thoughts. I do have a little bit of FOMO now. I'm kind of jealous that I wasn't there at the show tonight. I personally think, and again, like I was saying a few moments ago, this is why I like to let the show sink in for a few hours and then the next day kind of talk about it. But I really think that Evolution made a running for best show of the weekend. Now, All In, the main event, the specifics of it to the side, but the story of the main event in All In, the culmination of Hangman winning the title, that was something that absolutely needed to happen. The feeling around that, I think, definitely elevated the whole show in and of itself. That wasn't my match of the night. This isn't a all-in review show, but my point with bringing that up is, man, like, and again, maybe I'm biased for a few different reasons, but I feel like Evolution was such a good show, man. It was so well put together. My this audio still sucks. If you guys can hear me okay, let me know. I'm hoping you can. The StreamYard still won't let you switch to selecting your mic. The drop down shows all the mics available. You select Yeti. It does not select it. It stays on the default, and it's annoying as fuck for me. So I hope you guys can hear it okay. But I know you weren't that big of a fan of Evolution, or at least of Naomi's caption, so we'll obviously be talking about that, my friend. I appreciate your thought, bro. That's what we're all here for, right? To talk some shit and to dissect it. You know what I mean? Because just because I like something doesn't mean it's right. You know what I mean? And vice versa. So that's why we're all here. But Elvis, what up, bro? What up? What up? I appreciate you, my friend. Oh, SummerSlam would be fantastic. And Rewind 89, welcome back. Welcome back, stranger. Hello, hello. I would love to have you on for SummerSlam, my friend. Probably a review. Do you prefer the prediction or the review shows? Elvis, let me know, man. Let me know. Sai, you said now they need to follow up and run Evolution every year. Now, I will say that's a very good point that you bring up. Comatose, she said good quality audio. All right, shit, man. Hey, as long as it's good for you guys, that's the most important thing. I just feel like when I move to and like when I click on shit, it's amplified. But hey, as long as it works for you guys. But Sai, see like that, like but Sai, you said now they need to follow up and run Evolution every year. Big E, I was listening to a little bit of the post show for Evolution that they were doing as I was setting up production, right? um, aka moving my shit around. But I love Big E, dude. I didn't see the full pre-show, but I heard Jackie Redmond had a pretty like heartfelt speech, or like she said some good shit or whatever. So I definitely want to go back and listen to that. Like I said, I full disclosure, like I mentioned yesterday, if you guys were watching with me for half of our lives, I we ended up going on a friend's boat, so that was pretty dope. And ended up coming back and not feeling too great. So I actually fell asleep. So I woke up at like 8 something. So I was like, fuck. So I gotta hurry up and catch up on the first hour, which we'll get to. That triple threat, fantastic. I thought that was gonna be match of the show, which we'll get to, but in regards to, again, I'm all over the place. Big E though, and you saying that they need to run Evolution every year. Big E said that as well. He didn't necessarily say every year, but he was like, "Can we not wait another 7 years to do this?" And I agree. I actually was thinking during the main event, I was like, "Bro, I could see this being, like you said, Sai, not only an every year pay per view PLE, I can see the women really getting, I'm not gonna say like a weekly show, but some shit on the network or on Peacock or whatever, wherever you watch it at, wherever you're in the world. Um, I can see them getting something a little bit more consistent, especially with the amount of talent that they have. They are blessed with an abundance of talent. It's just a matter of giving them time to shine. You know what I mean? Like, and time in the sense of not just fitting a quota on each show, and not again, I don't want to say that and have it come off negative, because we are far and beyond where we were back in the day. So it's not a complaint, but it's just in the, it's in the sense of for instance, like with Chelsea Green, right? Like personally, I love Chelsea Green. I think Chelsea Green is fantastic. I think every show, every company needs someone like Chelsea Green for their product. She brings so much to it. She's obviously, and again, like to each their own taste, right? My opinion, she is a great character. She knows her role. She knows her limitations in the sense of like her boundaries, I guess, and how far she can go in different dynamics and shit. So I've loved getting to see her grow personally. Especially thinking back to like TNA, like the true like hot mess days. Like again, like not that I watched it religiously, but I had seen some clips and some matches, and because all I kept seeing like across like Twitter and shit was like this chick with like a fucked up, like half fucked up face, and she would come out with it was like that half wedding dress, and then like that would that looked kind of nice, but then the other half was all messed up. So I was like, what is wrong with this chick? So stuff like that, like she makes you tune in. You know what I mean? Now again, if you don't like her, I understand that. My thought though too with that is a lot of people. I'm not gonna say a lot, but most of the people who I don't wanna say maybe dislike Chelsea, but when she was the US champion, they thought she shouldn't be champion because she's not a serious character type shit, and I can understand that. I can understand where they're coming from, but to me, though, she has enough in-ring credibility, and her she's not one of those where she goes into a match and she has to be carried, right? Like, again, not going in there saying or not out here saying she's, like, the fucking, like, greatest ring technician out there, but she can hold her own, and she's solid, in my opinion, so that's why I feel like someone like her works for me, but she's a prime example of if you have more time, someone like her can grow, but on the flip side of that, the pro, obviously, all that is great for Chelsea, but on the flip side, the con to that, if you're not Chelsea Green, she takes up TV time away from you as well because she's so great. You know what I mean? So now, especially with SmackDown going back to 2 hours, which I am full in favor of, 3 hours is absurd for a weekly television show. Um, the women are they just don't get enough TV time, point blank, and they have been getting more and more, and like I said, so this isn't a complaint, but when you see a show like this, it shows you that there are talent out there who can do more, and maybe if they had a little bit more time, and not just time period on TV, but time in the sense of attention, growth, and input, you know what I mean? So, kinda just, like, some quick thoughts on that, and again, I know this show isn't gonna be for everyone, some people may think like even or hear like me thinking that this potentially could have been the show of the weekend is ludicrous with All In that we just had, and I totally get it. And we had some really good matches on All In, and I'm not comparing it. Just to each their own, right? Tomato, tomato type shit. But yeah, so shout out to Biggie, Sai. You made me think of Biggie and how great he was on the after show that I was just watching, and Jackie Redmond again was fantastic. But Joe Tessitore, man, like he's like the little Michael Cole of like the post shows, and he throughout the show was out there at the table with Stephanie McMahon as well. And I think having Stephanie out there was a nice touch and a really nice addition. Again, the McMahon bullshit to the side, from everything that's been released, she's not involved, and that has nothing to do with right now. And again, if shit comes out, we will address it at that point. But right now, Stephanie's good peoples, you know what I mean? And I have always been a fan of Stephanie, and not for nothing, I'm not gonna say every, that's incorrect, but the majority of articles that I've ever seen and like podcasts that I've listened to, or any wrestlers, any staff, any employees talking about Stephanie have always spoke highly of her. So I think that says a lot, especially talent who had been released. I forget who it was, but I remember God, man, who was it? There was it was right after WWE had released like their how they release like batches of talent from time to time, and it was during the lawsuit breaking with Vince McMahon and Janelle Grant and all that stuff, and the executives and like the four corporate people and all that stuff. Everyone who did comment on it on Twitter, at least, or like when Stephanie stepped down and like kind of like around that stuff, like around that time, everyone said like Stephanie was good people, and when she ended up stepping up before she even stepped down, gotta step up to step down. But when she was acting as, I forget what the exact title was, but when she was running side by side with Nick Khan, when Vince first had to step down or leave or whatever was happening with him at the time, everyone was happy for her. Like everyone praised it. And again, if they were just doing that to look good, whatever. But I think she's just always had a good look. And again, I'm sure there's shit out there that I'm not aware of or I'm missing, but Stephanie just gives you that good vibe too, and just like she just kind of makes you like feel good. This could come back to haunt me, right? But at least as of right now, like from what I know of Stephanie and her input behind the scenes and shit like that, and when she ended up leaving, people were upset. A lot of the talent, especially the women talent, were upset that she stepped away. They understood, like you understand type shit, but you miss the person at work. So it's cool to see her involved in apparently not involved, like, in the day-to-day operations, but to be able to come back for shit like this, so it was pretty cool. So, shout out to Stephanie, and I thought it was pretty telling that Stephanie got to interview and, well, set up the little in-ring promo segment for Stephanie. If this was, what, 4 years ago? Stephanie Vicaire, her first name would not be Stephanie. She would be, like, Melanie or some shit. Melanie Vicaire or just Vicaire. There's no way she would have kept the first name of Stephanie. Maybe an entire name change, but Stephanie as the first name, absolutely not. So I'm happy. I'm happy she's still Stephanie. Um, and it's interesting too. Like when Jay Cargill, again, I'm all over the place. We're gonna get into the matches in particular here, but when Jay Cargill came out, I thought of Ricky Starks, Ricky Saints, being so happy for Jade Cargill when she won the Queen of the Ring because she came out and was doing like the crown symbolism. Um, it's interesting who ended up having to change their name or who changed their name and who didn't. So far, I believe we have Mariah May name changed to Blake Monroe, who we'll be getting here to in a second. And then obviously Ricky Starks uh, turning into Ricky Saints, which again, I'm not even against, but it's just interesting who got to keep it. Stephanie Vicaire, Jade Cargill, obviously Cody Rhodes. Not that he was at AEW, obviously, but he got to keep his whole entire nightmare package. Um, but Stephanie Vicaire, 4 years ago, would absolutely not be Stephanie. My money is on Melanie. Um, but guys, I'm pulling up the lineup here, and we're not gonna be here too long. Just wanted to go over some quick thoughts in regards to the show. And you guys and me, I'm not going to sit here and go through my move. Got here though, because I know a couple of you people are sharing some thoughts. So I want to know what you guys have to say. Yo, this this Rewind 81 person, like, I was see, we have to know the identity of this Rewind 89. They seem to have like they have like a Elvis radar. Whenever Elvis is interacting on the stream, Rewind is here. Word. All right, so we'll do the review, man. I think it's what is it August 1st and 2nd, 2nd and 3rd, the beginning of August. So we'll link up for sure. What up, Fernando? What up? What up? What up? Your name, bro. My my homie watching on Twitch. I your name kills me, bro. Every time. Every time. But you say women should be getting more TV time with Seth gone now. I mean, yeah. Speaking of Seth, though, like the moveset that the moveset that Becky Lynch has been picking up, it's just insane. Obviously, they're married and trained together. Duh. But just seeing some of the moves that she does, it's like, yo, like she's as crisp as Seth. their kid is gonna be fucking fantastic. Like, can only imagine. Their kid is gonna fucking crush it. Yo, E. My guy. He's a Stephanie McMahon still looking good for real. MILF. You cracked me up, bro. Yeah, she looks fantastic. Shout out to Stephanie. Stephanie is looking fantastic. All the Stephanies. All the Stephanies are winners here. Well, for lack of better words. They get the love here. But yo, and seeing how close they were, how close the alleyway was, man, I was FOMO for sure, bro. FOMO for sure. But pulling up the card here really quick, guys. The opening match, my goodness gracious. I'm gonna probably go back and rewatch that as well. I was thinking about watching something completely different, but I might turn this back on just to watch the triple threat match because whoever produced this match, bravo. Bravo. Like they deserve their flowers and some time off to enjoy the fruits of their labor because well done. Like the go-to is normally Tyson Kidd, but I feel like fuck, Bobby Roode. I think Mr. Roode may have had something to do with this one. I just had that feeling, but whoever, fantastic. I loved the. I liked how at the beginning of the match they kind of got Lyra out of the way and Becky and Bailey went at it. And taking a step back before I get ahead of myself, the vibe, the fans were just fucking into this match, dude, and that set the tone of the show, in my opinion. The crowd there just really added to it. Now, I think the show still would have been good if the fans were just whatever, but man, like they really added another notch or two to the show, and shit like that is needed. You know what I mean? Like whether the show, the wrestlers itself is just excellent itself. The crowd, I'm not gonna say can make or break, but they really add to it, man. Like if the crowd is kind of dull, it kind of makes you at home just like, all right, like that was good, but okay. But man, like if they're into it, then it gets you pumped, dude. It gets you going, and you could see it, especially Becky, dude. Like when the crowd was going right as the match was beginning, you could see Becky feeling it, and it gets you pumped, bro. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it gets you pumped. Like it just get you going. Like, let's fucking go. And they did, dude. I loved it. And Becky was holding up the number 4 for the 4 horsewomen. I loved that because obviously, well, maybe not obviously. If you are not on Twitter, maybe you have not seen the Players Tribune letter article that Charlotte had released within this past week, if not a little over a week ago. I think it was within this past week. Um, and she got very emotional and very open with that. So if you have not read it, I did a stream on that, so feel free to check that out. But definitely read it. If you don't want to watch my stream, and all good, no pressure there. But definitely check out Charlotte's letter, Ashley's letter. She really opened up there, and I think it really plays into what we're seeing on TV now, which we'll tie that into here in a bit as well. But I thought it was really cool just seeing Becky throw up the number 4 because the one of Charlotte's, I guess, the people that or not the people, but one of the things that people really give Charlotte shit for is the dissension between the 4 horsewomen. And again, I don't know the full story. I don't even remember like how it all got started, to be honest with you. I had to go back and check all that. But we do know the dissension between Charlotte and Becky for sure. We don't know all the specific details. It's none of our business really, most likely. But we saw what happened on TV, right? That segment when it was Sonya Deville, they had to swap titles because I think the draft had just happened, which was just fucking absurd in and of itself. That might be the word of the night. Just the fact that they had to switch the titles, ridiculous. So I know maybe that has something to do with it as well, but I think I forget like one of them threw the title down at the feet of the other, and the other one wouldn't like let go of the title, some shit like that. So speculation arose, right? And just shit takes off from there. And then some comments have been made in interviews. So whatever, you know what I mean? You don't have to be best friends with people. And again, not saying they're best friends now or they still all can hate each other. I think Bailey and Mercedes are still pretty tight. But regardless, dude, it was cool. And to me, it just really stood out. I think it was very specific timing too. I mean, obviously with Becky and Bailey facing off, but they have been intertwined for the past few weeks, few months now. Becky doing that tonight, I don't know. To me, I could be reading way too much into it and making something out of nothing into it. But when I saw that, I was like, "Yo, that's dope. That's dope." And obviously, Mercedes isn't there to be involved in Evolution. She had her, in a way, the Four Horsewomen did kind of dominate the weekend. Well, not dominate, but hold hold weight for the women's division, respectively, on each show. So shout out to them. It's really cool. It's really cool seeing how far they've come. Um, and I can't wait to see like a full documentary on that once they're able to, like years from now, when they're all four able to sit down and like do like a full like recap of everything. That's gonna be so fascinating to watch. And even just seeing Mercedes and Bailey revisit their NXT match, I just think I can't wait for that. But this match again, I just think was fantastic. I When I saw this and when it ended, I was like, is the this is the match of the show. Like that, who's gonna top this? Like, of course you know what's coming with the main event, but like, bro, like this was just fantastic. And I was that right there again. Could be just me being biased or whatever, but I was like, yo, like this is one of the top matches, if not top 3, top 2, top match of the weekend. So, again, subjective, but fantastic. The thing that really sold it for me, though, was the finisher. I am obsessed with that pin that Becky pulled. I had the recap pulled up here, but Valkyria had hit her Nightwing finisher on Lynch and had her beat, but Bailey broke up the pin at the last moment. A short time later, Bailey stuffed a Nightwing attempt and then rolled up Valkyria, who countered and got a 2 count. Bailey hit the Rose Plant and covered Valkyria. Then Lynch grabbed Bailey and used the backslide to get the 3 count. It was insane. So Bailey was in a pinning predicament and had her back exposed, and Becky was coming from the other side, and Bailey had kind of like her elbows up, for the pin, obviously hitting Lyra. And Becky just in one swoop motion, dude, like hooked Bailey's arm, swung her over, and got her into the pinning predicament, dude. Got the 3 count. I was like, yo, that's fucking incredible. That's incredible. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I am a sucker for shit like that, but the precision and her pulling it off, like it was just spot on, dude. So shout out to Bailey, shout out to Becky, shout out to Lyra. I think the um reaction for Lyra was a good sign as well. Again, to be honest with you guys, like full transparency, Lyra still hasn't completely grown on me. She has grown substantially in the ring on the microphone, so it's nothing. I'm not gonna sit here and knock on her or her growth or anything like that. I can obviously see that. I think we all can. But for me personally, she's just not one of my favorites, just character wise. So that's just where I'm at with Lyra. But she's dope. Like she in the ring, she's very good. And she gives off that vibe that she's been on the main roster for years now, or for at least 2, 3 years. So shout out to her. And I think Becky Lynch had a big hand into that transition and acclimating Lyra onto the main roster as well. So shout out to all of them. I think they did great work. And again, that pin, bro, beautiful, beautiful. Rewind is funny, bro. Rewind 89 cracks me up. But no, shout out to everyone watching again. My little live impromptu recap here. If you're watching on YouTube, if you would like, you can go ahead and like the stream here. That'd be fantastic. Or you can dislike whatever suits your fancy. No pressure. If you aren't subscribed, feel free to do that if you'd like as well. We're growing. It's pretty dope. It's pretty dope to see. And it's really cool to see like how many people end up watching on Twitter. Again, I'm still kind of blown away by that. So yeah, shout out to everyone watching everywhere. And on Twitch, a couple people watch on Twitch. I don't really know shit about Twitch, but shout out to you guys who do and are watching over there. But moving on, we did get some legend sightings as well, which I thought was pretty cool how they had to sprinkle through. And really quick, I'm thinking about it in case I forget to bring it up later on. I thought it was really dope that they had celebrities out in the fans or out in the crowd with the fans too. I Metro Boomin was out there, Quavo was out there. Those are the two that stood out to me. Um, I know I missed them though, because like I said, I was kind of watching and playing catch up, so I fast forward a little through in between the matches, but it just really I think was Lil Yachty out there? I think he was out there too. I forget, but I love Metro Boomin, bro, and he's a good follow on Twitter if you aren't following him. But it was dope to see because it's an all women show. Long story short, you know what I mean? Like they could have been doing anything else with their Sunday night, and they could have looked at the card and been like, "Oh, yo, like Cody Rhodes isn't on here, Jey Uso isn't on here, Roman Reigns, like John Cena, all the dudes are on there." You know what I mean? And they could have made it a point to just stay at home, and maybe watch at home, or maybe just do whatever. And they went to the show, and you can tell they weren't just plants. So shout out to them. It was really dope to see, and personally, it makes me bigger fans of them. So it's a win-win. So shit, if they're trying to look good too, it worked. I doubt it, but it was just a cool sight to see. We had Vicky Guerrero, I think, was out there as well. Which guys seeing Vicky Guerrero, I think it's only a matter of time before she comes back on screen and starts interacting with Dominic, and I can only imagine what that's gonna look like. I can only imagine. Not saying like, I'm not saying I want her to be, like, his manager or anything like that, although that could be pretty entertaining, because technically it's his stepmom, right? I swear, I think that I really do think that Eddie Guerrero is Dominic's dad. No disrespect to Ray or no, no not insinuating anything, but, like, just look at the dude. Look at him and the mannerisms. I just, I can't do it. I can't. Well, this isn't about Dominic, but obviously seeing Vicky Guerrero made me think of all that. But we saw Mark Henry out there as well. But that led to our next match with the NXT Championship on the line. JC Jane defending against Jordan Grace. This was a good match. Nothing too crazy. The story here was obviously what was happening at the end of the match with Blake Monroe. She ended up turning on Jordan Grace. I was actually kind of surprised, but not surprised that it happened, just surprised on the timing. I thought that they were gonna try to get at least a few more weeks, maybe another month out of the little segments and the not backstage, but the shit that Blake Monroe and, of course, Mariah May and Jordan Grace were doing. I thought the shit with, Monroe and Jordan going to the nail salon and Jordan Grace like not like being reluctant to be there at first and like not want to get all like dolled up and shit. And then at the end, like really enjoying it and them kind of bonding and kind of forming a partnership and growing from there. So I expected the turn eventually, right? But I just didn't think it would happen this soon. Not even that I'm against it. I they just wasn't expecting it. So like touche, you got me. The only thing was like was it Michael Cole? I don't think he really, like, acknowledged Monroe smacking Jordan Grace in the back with the title as much. Like, it just wasn't really played up as much as it should have been, in my opinion. Maybe he missed it, which is very possible, but I thought that it should have been driven home a little bit more. But yeah, it sets up excuse me, obviously, the heel turn for Blake Monroe, which I think is very fitting. It allows Jordan Grace something to do not title related because if you're not going to pull the trigger on having her win the championship, then you need to keep her out of the title picture, period, or move her up to the main roster. And because she's already, this has been what her third. I know it's at least what her second one-on-one opportunity. Her third, because I think she was in like a multi-women match. So I think there's like a four-way as well. So at least her third shot, if I'm not mistaken. So you can't keep having her getting these opportunities and losing, regardless of the reason. Because, as they say in the history books, man, an L is an L, and you just know that she's been in that situation and lost. And again, it's no fault of her own, but it's still not good. You know what I mean? I'm not. not that it's not good, it's, like, harming her, but it's like, "Bro, like, don't keep putting her in that position to keep losing and expecting us to expect her to win." You know what I mean? Because it does get to a point where it's like, "Alright, well, some fuckery is gonna happen." So, I'm happy that Jordan Grace will have something to do outside of the title picture until they're able or not able, until they're wanting to pull the trigger on her, and whether that's in NXT or whether they're just going to move her to the main roster or not. So we'll see. And I think the main roster now, SmackDown and Raw, has a pretty stacked roster. It's just a matter of them using it. So I think it's more beneficial for both Jordan Grace herself and NXT to keep her down in NXT. So I'm digging it. I hope that they do end up taking her seriously though, and don't just keep having everyone beat her. That's my only concern. So we will see. But I thought the match was fine. And JCJ, like I if you would have asked me 3, 4 months ago, I would have been I'd be like she wouldn't have been on my top 10 like picks if you would have asked me who would have been the NXT Women's Champion, it wouldn't I she wouldn't have been a pick. And nothing against her. I mean, like she was just a shock for me. So again, they got me there too. But moving on after that, we did have some additional legend sightings in the crowd. We had Jazz, Ivory, Jacqueline, and Maurice all sitting, I think, right beside each other. Bro, Ivory, Jazz, and Jacqueline look fantastic. I've seen Maurice more frequently. She's on, she's not on Twitter, but I follow The Miz on Instagram. He's I like the little family. I don't know. Sue me. But, I hadn't seen Jazz, Ivory, or Jacqueline recently, and they just look fantastic. Like, I don't know who said it, but one of them said, like, they don't age, and no truer statement, dude. No truer statement. And I think that if Jazz was just transplanted from the era that she was in, what was it? Like, she was in ECW at some point too. I think a little bit, but then, my exposure to her was I think it's like 2001, 2002 WWF. So if you take that Jazz and put her in eat shit 2018 and above, unreal, unreal. And it's kind of a bummer because people like her, Ivory, and Jacqueline, they used her especially in the 90s, mainly for eye candy for a while there. But she was decent in the ring too, dude. Like, don't sleep on Jacqueline. So I would love to see if I guess they don't. I'm not. I hadn't seen any of these women in many. I'm not gonna say many years, but many days because I couldn't tell you when. So I don't even know if they're still active or if they're trainers or anything like that. But it'd be dope if they're still active or still want like willing and able to maybe get back in the ring for a couple matches here or there. You know what I mean? Like the women's Royal Rumble, Battle Royals, stuff like that, and shit. Maybe like a Nikki Bella. Like if they're serious and they want to come back, obviously they have a little bit more years on them than a Nikki Bella, probably 10 plus years. Not to age them. And again, age is just a number, but in the sense of if they haven't been like actively training and stuff like that. So just a thought, but man, it was dope seeing them. It was really dope seeing them. And then I know later on we saw where was it? It was I think we saw Melina, right? Yeah. It was Tori Wilson, Melina, and Molly Holly. Melina, dude, she was so emotional. And it made me so happy because I there was some interview that I saw it's been some months ago now. Um But she was just, like, saying how, like, thankful she was for her time at wrestling and how surprised she was that she still had, like, such a strong fan base and how it just has carried over and stuff like that, and I just thought it was really cool, you know what I mean? And to see the emotion on her face, dude, it was really dope, but you wanna talk about people who still look good? Fucking Tori Wilson, bro. Tori Wilson is bless her. God bless her. She is just I don't know what she's doing right now, but again, if you want to talk about people coming back, we would love to have you back, Tori. Uh, no complaints here. But just like unreal shape. Like they all like I mean, of course they've gotten older, but like they look pretty much the same, dude. Like different haircuts, like but muscular dude, like none of them are like crazy overweight or like out of shape or just like hardly look like themselves. Like bravo. Bravo, women. Bravo. But yeah, moving on, we had speaking of people from the past, Trish Stratus facing off against Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's Championship. Of course, the SmackDown Women's Championship. This match, I think this match was much better than what a lot of people probably expected. Again, it wasn't blow away good, but and again, like I think it was Michael Cole. He said this was Trish Stratus's first match in what 18 years. I don't think that's right. Her first singles match. I don't think that's right, dude. Didn't she just have a match against Charlotte Flair like in SummerSlam not too long ago? I remember hearing that and I was like, fuck, I need to look this shit up. Because we know she's had and she just fought against Becky Lynch. So yeah, I gotta look that shit up to have because I know. And maybe I heard his little statistic incorrectly. And again, I think at that point I was whatever. I may have misheard him, but something about 18 years, and I was like, bro, like that's not accurate. But he did say it was her first championship bout since she had to, or since she vacated the title back in 2006, and she won the championship at Unforgiven 2006 in Toronto against Lita. Y'all, if you want to go back and watch a pay per view that Loki does not get enough praise, Unforgiven 2006. Actually, I said we weren't going to be here forever because it is a work night, right? But you guys know me. And we're not going to be here forever, ever. Forever, ever. But I got to pull up this card because it was fantastic. And the main event was Edge facing off against John Cena. This is one of those pay per views randomly that I have watched countless times. Why? I don't know. Can't specifically tell you. All right, so the card for Unforgiven 2006, guys, because this is what you guys came here for, right? Johnny Johnny Nitro defending the Intercontinental Championship against Jeff Hardy. Kane versus Umaga. RIP Umaga. The Spirit nah, don't kill me, guys. The Spirit Squad facing off against the Highlanders. I mean, not everything is a 10 for 10. DX versus DX versus Big Show, Mr. McMahon, and Shane McMahon in a handicap tag team Hell in a Cell match. Again, guys, don't kill me. Trish Stratus facing off against Lita in the, like I said, in the WWE Women's Championship match. This was Trish Stratus's last match, supposedly, of her WWE full-time career. Randy Orton facing off against Carlito, and John Cena versus Edge in the TLC match for the WWE Championship. And if the stipulation was if Cena had lost, he would leave Raw for SmackDown. So if you guys need a random show to throw on, which is pretty good, at least the ones that stood out to me, Johnny Nitro, Jeff Hardy, the matches that I remember. I actually completely forgot that Hell in a Cell match was on that show. But the Jeff Hardy match, maybe I'm biased. Jeff Hardy's always been my guy. The main event, like I said, with John Cena and Edge was just very well done. The fans were great in that match. And then Trish Stratus against Lita as well. Obviously, the emotion and the story behind that one, but I just loved Lita and Trish going against each other. So here's side info for the night, guys. But what I also liked, you know, since we're talking about all this other shit too, Trish had her kids there, which was pretty dope. Um, And it's just insane that, like, again, like, these women just look fantastic, and maybe I'm just lazy on here, but, like, bro, like, Jade Cargill's a mom too, and the fact that she has like, you can see every ab in her body just fucking blows my mind, and again, like, I know her kid is, like, older, but, like, it's hard, bro, it's fucking hard, so shout out to them. But the match itself was much better, like I said earlier, than what I think some people were expecting, but I dug it, you know? I wish they had more time to actually build a story going into it, but I think that they needed to I just think they needed more story. I think the story would have added more to the heat of the match itself, and I was surprised it came on as early as it did, to be honest with you. It came on at, like, around 9 o'clock, I think. So about 2 hours-ish into it, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But it was good, and I think Trish looked good out there, so I do not think this is the end of Trish in the ring. I wouldn't be surprised if we see her a little bit more frequently, so shout out to them. And they said Tiffany is now going on, what, 7 months? And, defending her title reign, 7, 8 months, so she's racking up the victories here. And well, we'll get to that, we'll save that for the main event. Because I was about to say something with the Money in the Bank briefcase, but we have an answer on that. Because I was whatever. I'll hold that thought. Jade Cargill facing off against Naomi with Bianca Belair as the special guest referee. I feel like Bianca Belair is one of like she's got to be up there for one of the wrestlers who has been a special referee the most. Like I feel like this woman at least 2, 3 times in the past year or 2 has been a special referee. At least twice within the past year. Some shit like that. But I'm not knocking, I'm just like, "Alright, okay." But, to be honest with you guys, like, this match, I was bummed that Naomi lost. Again, we'll get to what happened later on when we get there, but this match itself, like, I thought Naomi needed this victory, dude, like, especially with it being a no holds barred match. I dug the ending, they jaded through the table. I thought that was pretty dope from off of the top turnbuckle. Very well done. But I don't know. I was expecting Naomi to win here, especially with her character, it being no holds bar, her being fucking psycho. Like I don't know. Like I felt like they had an opportunity to really show more of a sadistic side of Naomi and show her just really be like this loose hinge, like this or whatever, but this woman who will stop at nothing, especially in a no holds barred match. Um, and I don't know, like you had Jade beat Naomi at WrestleMania just to have her turn around and beat her again here tonight. I just thought that was unnecessary. Again, what happened later on, we'll get to, but I just thought that she should have picked up the victory here, dude. Regardless of if you were gonna have her cash in or not. I just thought that you you had an opportunity to really give Naomi something else to really brag about, especially because she's been the one that's been obsessed with Jade. It's not like Jade fucked with her and was like being like a bully to her and then Naomi snapped but took it too far and then Naomi has been like no, like Naomi started this shit, has been dragging this shit on. Like Naomi has been the main issue, and you haven't given her an opportunity to really have any comeuppance on Jade, and that's what bothered me about this. But it was a fine match. I too you count me in for. I don't know if it was like they have trained me at this point, but I thought Bianca was gonna get involved, and I thought Bianca was gonna turn on Jade, dude. I thought Bianca was gonna be a deciding factor in this match, and she wasn't. So, all right, I guess Bianca is just staying how she is, and no turn or nothing. So we'll just move on. We will just and I guess we have to, right? With Naomi doing what she did at the end of the show, it's just gonna be Bianca and Jade on SmackDown now, and they're both still friends. So unless they're gonna team up to go after their which they're not because I was about to say unless they're going to, but they're not because Jade is gearing up for SummerSlam now. So where does that leave Bianca? It's actually a really interesting scenario that we're in now. So I don't know, man. I'm not even saying like I'm not saying at all. I'm not even like, like I'm not saying period that I dislike it. Besides the fact I think Naomi should have got the victory over Jade. But in the sense of Jade moving on, doing her own thing, Naomi moving on during doing her own thing, and then Bianca just kind of being out there. I'm really intrigued to see what we end up doing with Bianca. So yeah, on that. I see some who's that? Maria? What up, Maria? What up? What up? What up? You said Jade winning was the right decision. It's Jade. And again, you make a point there, saying just by saying it's Jade, with that simple statement. And you're right, it is Jade. It does make sense, but I feel like she could have had so many different outs to lose this match, and I don't think she would have lost anything character wise. I don't think we, as fans, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we would have if they went out there and they had a competitive match and then whether it was Bianca assisting Naomi to get the upper hand or Naomi did some fuck shit and trapped Jade or whatever, you know what I mean? And did some shit where it's like, okay, Naomi like Naomi went too far. That that's kind of where I'm coming from. I'm not saying that Naomi should have gone out there and just beat the fuck out of Jade and just clean slate with her and just dominated her. No, but I just feel like you had done all this with Naomi and she's gotten nothing out of it, really. Besides a character change which she needed just to keep it fresh. But yeah, and my other point to with what you were saying there too, Maria, was Jade the case can be made that Jade needs to be kept strong going into SummerSlam. But with what I was just saying, if depending on how they could have done it with, like I said, Naomi just doing some fuck shit and just going like above and beyond and just really just decimating Jade, I Jade could have gotten her lick back, you know what I mean, and been fine at SummerSlam. So, but I get what you're saying though. I totally get what you're saying. And then we had the 20 women battle royal title shot at Clash in Paris. Again, obviously not going into all this, but a few people or a few things stood out to me. I thought it was pretty cool how we had, uh, of course, we had Nikki Bella come out first, which is to be expected, right? No shocker there. But then we had Chelsea Green come out. I just thought that was really cool. And I loved seeing the interactions between Nikki Bella and Chelsea Green throughout the Battle Royal. I think that's just gonna be a continuation there. And I'm looking forward to a one-on-one match between Nikki Bella and Chelsea Green. I think we make it to SummerSlam since it is gonna be a two-night show. I think we do end up getting that match on a SummerSlam, which I'm here for. I am absolutely here for. I love Chelsea Green mocking the little twirl that Nikki Bella does. Fantastic. Fantastic. And Flash Legend kind of jumping all over the place as I think of people. Doing the little on the rope after she eliminated Nikki. I thought that was fantastic. I thought Lash Legend was if not one of or if not the one of the MVPs of the Battle Royal here. I just thought she looked fantastic here. And I think they should have just given her the straight up clean elimination over Nia Jax. I think her size, like when you look at her, you don't think like, oh, she's like a bigger woman. But when you see her in a setting like the Battle Royal, you really see like, yo, like, let's go, bro. Like, is she? I love her look. obviously she's no one new, right? But seeing her interact just in the setting that she was tonight and with the mixture of talent and of like different levels and different experiences, different heights of characters, right? Like you have your Nia Jax, your Nikki Bellas, Stephanie Vaquers, all of them, like different levels of experience and different levels of tenure. I just thought it was really dope. And like I said, they were hyping up at the beginning when Nia was coming out that she won the first Evolution Battle Royal. So I think it really would have been cool if they would have hung that solo elimination of Nia Jax just straight for Lash Legend. I think that just would have been a cool callback for Legend. They did end up having Stephanie help Lash to eliminate Nia Jax at the end, and then of course it came down to Stephanie Vaquer and Lash Legend and uh everyone's favorite move, right? From our gal Stephanie Vaquer, uh hitting the devil's kiss not once but twice is we were blessed with the kiss, and I think it was well earned. I think we had a long wrestling weekend, and I think it was well earned. So thank you, Stephanie. It's a beautiful thing. She does amazing work. It's just fantastic. You know, like not even joking, but just all seriousness. Like she I don't know how she hasn't hurt her knees, but that shit just looks fantastic. And she ended up hitting that to Lash Legend on the apron, which is what sealed the victory for her. And then we got, like I was mentioning earlier, Stephanie in the ring chatting with each other. Um, but overall, I think the battle royal was very well done as well. We had a good influx of people in there. I was surprised that we did not have a Brie Bella sighting. I was expecting that right before the bell rang for her music to hit, but apparently she did not receive that call, and I don't know. That's just very odd to me. So yeah, I don't know. Very interesting. Very interesting. Especially because obviously she wasn't sitting at ringside. I'm sure they may have mentioned her on commentary or mentioned her at some point, but it's just odd with Nikki being there and Brie not, and Brie going or doing an interview or doing something recently. Maybe it was their own podcast, some shit, saying that, you know, she hadn't received a phone call from WWE, but she would be, like, willing or some shit. Like, I don't know. And I don't know how that works. Like, I don't know if they're supposed to call you or if you're supposed to call them. Like, obviously, like, if you're that big of a deal, like, they're gonna reach out to you, right? But who's supposed to reach out to who? You know, it's like, I don't know. I don't know how that shit works. But I was surprised that we didn't get Brie Bella mostly. Like, that was the number one. I thought that was I would have put money on that as a given, really. Um, and the wild card again is AJ Lee. Like I in my blood, dude, like everything in me knows that she's coming back. It's just a matter of when. And she's just biding her time. Now the next speculation is SummerSlam. It's in New Jersey. That's her hometown. It just depends on the lay of the land. And we will see the build between now and SummerSlam. Not that we even have that much time. It's what, 3-ish weeks away? So we'll see what ends up shaking up for the women's side and if there's any open challenges or if she I don't know, because it would she make like a surprise appearance at WrestleMania for the pop or WrestleMania at SummerSlam for that big pop, that big ovation? Would she return maybe like the week or two prior, which is not that again not that long from now, to set something up for SummerSlam? You would have imagined she would have done that tonight, right? So I don't know, man. I don't know where we're at with AJ Lee. I don't know. Does she even really want to come back? Like she did get involved with oh my god, the women's promotion. Shit. It's completely just left my brain. Oh my gosh. But she was like a producer or some shit, and Tessa Blanchard was supposed to be like the face of it, and it just ended up not going well. I don't fucking forget the name of it, but so she has been involved in wrestling. Wow, women of wrestling. Duh. Wow, yes, women of wrestling. Yeah. Fuck. Thanks, E. I appreciate that, bro. I have your comments put up here. I'm gonna skim through them here before we dip out after we wrap up everything, but, or wrap up the card. But, yeah, so I don't know what she's doing, bro. I don't know. But moving on, after that, we had the main event, guys. The main event, which I think ended up being my match of the night. I that again, that triple threat was it's a toss up, bro. It's a toss up. But the main event, of course, was Io Sky coming in as our women's world champion on the Raw side, defending her title against Rhea Ripley as her chosen opponent. Io chose Rhea for this spot. Again, we're not going to get into the build because I'll be here another hour bitching about that. But shit. Take my money, dude. And they did. My Peacock subscription is purely for WWE. So I would pay that and then some for obviously for this match because this was fantastic. I think it was Jackie Redmond, as I was watching right before we went live here, who had mentioned that to Triple H to please book this match again for SummerSlam. It doesn't even need to have a championship, just please book it. And I'm right here with her. Like, it was fantastic. Like, just watch it. Just watch it. If you hadn't had a chance to watch the show yet, please go back and watch that. I mean, my opinion, I think the whole card or the whole card was very good or great, in my opinion. Some matches obviously were better than others, but that's obviously, duh, like you have to have rankings. So if you only have a limited amount of time, definitely check out the women's main event, the women's, it's all the main event, the triple threat match that opened the show, and the battle royal too. In my opinion, I think the battle royal was dope. So check out those if you only have limited time. But the main event, dude, with Io and Rhea going out into the fans and Io hitting that crossbody, what, 15, 20 feet off of those like barricade production truck things, like insane, dude. Insane. I do think that Io still has one of the best entrances. Like her theme is just fantastic. Something about it, dude. It's like a trance. It just sucks you in. And I mean, you guys know my love for Rhea. Like I have again would be here talking all night about Rhea if if that were the case. But the chemistry that these two have, and it before I even get to that, like because that'll tie into this, but like Rhea Ripley is just fantastic, dude. Like you sit here and you think of all the great matches that and the great opponents that Rhea has had, Becky Lynch, she's had I mean Charlotte Flair, like come on. That was her like welcoming to the main roster was with Charlotte Flair essentially and just I think their matches, they're the type of competitors where their matches will just get better and better and better the more they face each other. But they had a real, I don't want to say luck, but a real like step up almost than other people of just like having that great chemistry off the bat. But it's something about Rhea, in my opinion, too, because Rhea just has a way about making carrying the match and like, kind of morphing into whatever role she needs to be in, right? And there was a quote that Kevin Nash had, said apparently recently about Raquel Rodriguez, how Raquel needs to wrestle big more or something to that effect. And Raquel Rodriguez, to her credit, oh, I wanted to talk about Charlotte here really quick too. Um, but did I completely skip that match? But Raquel, to her credit, she was like, if that really came from Kevin Nash, then I then pretty much like thanked him and like she will work harder and for him to keep watching her matches, please, because she will take that advice. And I just thought that first of all, it was such a classy way to handle that response. I don't know the setting. It was somewhere on Twitter, like you know how like Russell Ops or something like they'll put like a quote or whatever. It's something like that that I had seen. I just thought it was such a great response, first of all. And second, true, but I was watching the main event, watching Rhea, it kind of made me not think that she needs to work more as like a or work better or however Kevin Nash had phrased it. I don't want to say work better, but like work more into like that big role. Rhea does that, dude. Like Rhea is just so good at morphing into, like I said, whatever role she needs to be depending on the match, right? And obviously with this one, and the majority of her matches, she has the size. But like against, for instance, like a Raquel, like they both are pretty equal when it comes to size and strength. Um, so she just has a way of just really combating her opponent, dude. But the the fluidity that Rhea has and the crispness and just how everything connects, dude. Like, and everything looks brutal. Like, brutality is fucking like whoever came up with that slogan, if it was her, whatever, just spot on, dude. Fucking spot on. Because that chick, respectively, is just badass, man. Like, and brutal. Brutal as fuck. Like, the headbutts that she gives, like, what? What? And again, like, just everything. Everything. And how she bodies and how she really, like, owns, like, the power, not even just the power moves, but just, like, simple transition moves and just simple, I don't know, man, just everything, everything. I could sit here and go on and on about it all night, but she really just has a way of making everything look like a fight, but look effortless at the same time, is, like, much of an oxymoron, I think is that sounds like, but you guys get what I'm saying. Incredible. And I was really wondering who the fuck was gonna win this match. Like, that last moonsault that Io scored at the end, I thought that was it. I thought that was it. And then we had Naomi come out and ended up cashing in, which we'll get to here in one moment. Excuse me, but the match itself, like Biggie had said, fantastic. Please go back and watch that. But I think that the cash in with Naomi, and I'm gonna get to you here in 1 second, man. I think it was needed. I think it was needed. But before we get to that, I want to see what you guys are thinking. So 1 second here. I'm gonna move some tabs over. Yeah, and of course, it's like the storm knows when I'm going live. So there's a storm brewing in the background. With the thunder. So, oh, what's happening here? Hold on. I was trying to pull up my notes here, and it's making me sign back into Google. Do this whole verification passkey shit. But I'm gonna pull up your chats here too, guys. Muhammad, what up, my friend? Thank you for joining me late. The midnight hour, the midnight witching hour, as they say, right? The midnight witching hour. But I appreciate you all. Appreciate you all. I appreciate you all so much for watching here on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitch, if you're watching on Twitter, which again, a lot of you guys seem to like to do, to watch on Twitter, which is dope. Shout out to you guys over there. K Smith, what up, dude? No, and again, you know me, last minute impromptu stream. Yeah, Alex, hey, what up, dude? What up, what up? I think you might be new here. I appreciate you popping in. I don't think AJ Lee is ever gonna come back either, man. I really don't. Well, no, I take that back. I do think she's gonna come back. It's just one of those things where it's like, fuck, man, I don't think she's ever gonna come back. You know, it's like that's your feeling. Like deep down, you know she's gonna come back. So I think she is. I think she is, dude. And E, okay, you said AJ isn't coming back. She hasn't expressed interest publicly that she wants to return. They need to focus more on the new people, build their talent they got now instead of hiring all of these legends to do the job you followed up with. I don't know, man. I don't really think that she's going to whether like if she's whether she wants to or not, like I don't think she's gonna go out there and be like, "Oh yeah, I really want to." Like I'm just waiting for the call. No shot at Brie Bella. Or be like, "No, I'm done with wrestling. I never want to go back." And I don't think she's correct me if I'm wrong. I could have missed something, but especially with that partnership and that working relationship that she had with Wild, dude. Like I don't think you do that if you're just completely done with wrestling. And I think seeing the relationship Punk has with WWE now, how he has integrated back into the wrestling world, not only that, but he has obviously been back with WWE for a good amount of time now. Everything seems to be going well, no issues, so that we know of. Um, and I'm sure we would hear something or we would see displeasure on his face or something. I don't know, dude. I think that that's gonna play in a lot and weigh a lot and weigh heavy on her decision. I don't think it's going to make her feel pressured to necessarily go back more, but I think it's going to make her feel easier about wanting to go back. So it's kind of where I'm at with AJ, dude. I think we will see her though, and whenever she does come back, I don't think it's going to be full time. I think it'll be, if anything, similar to the Punk schedule, maybe a little bit less, but I think we will see her at some point. But I did somehow miss the tag team match, so really quick, just to go through that. My main takeaway, honestly, with the tag team match, where'd it go? Was the presentation of Charlotte Flair. I thought that they really are doing a nice job with the teaming of Charlotte and Alexa. Again, I spoke about the players tribute thing a good amount now. But I really think that the pairing of Charlotte with Alexa was something that they needed to do with Charlotte for multiple reasons, right? We all know the obvious. But I think Alexa is one of those unique characters where they have the history built in between the two of them, so it's not something forced. But for whatever reason, you can tell like the Charlotte character feels more okay with Alexa Bliss, kind of like a more at home, like a good friend, like even okay, obviously even their shirt says we're not friends, right? But like it's that maybe friend isn't the best word, but it's that person where even though like you're like you're not best friends, you don't hate each other, you just like that person's gonna have your back at the end of the day. Like I'm not gonna sit here and invite you over to a holiday dinner or type shit, but like if I see you out and like if for whatever like God forbid like we're out fucking around, you know what I mean, like bar hopping or whatever, it's a group of people, or if I stumble upon a group and you're there, like you would have my back type shit. You know what I mean? So and the Charlotte character is kind of taking comfort in that. And she's letting loose and she's allowing like the Charlotte guard to drop a little bit, and Alexa just seems to be that character. She's not the demented Alexa character, right? Like, in regards to like the Wyatt Six or Bray or anything like that. They just seem to be gelling together. And I loved the moment when Charlotte went in there and I think she grabbed I think yeah, she like pulled I almost said she pushed, but she pulled Alexa Bliss out of the way and saved her. And that it was that moment and then another moment in the match where the fans just really bought into that. And that's what you need, dude. You need moments like that to really have Charlotte be selfless and have Charlotte not be the queen. Have who like expects to be defended and like royalty and all this shit and like can like dare be like brought down to help anyone else. Like no, like she didn't necessarily sacrifice herself, but she made it a point to save Alexa. So stuff like that means a lot and like little like goodwill things, right? So I think that's the presentation that they're doing with Charlotte, especially immediately after the letter that came out that she submitted to the Tribune. I think that that's the ideal handling, and I think that they're doing a very good job. I think Charlotte is doing a good job with easing up, like the Charlotte character is doing a nice job at easing up and being vulnerable, dude, and like allowing herself to need someone, and I think that it's only a matter of time how it plays out, but I think we're getting back to that point before she ended up injuring her knee, where the fans were wanting to cheer her and wanting to get behind her, and then she ended up getting injured, which is obviously no one's fault. It's just shitty. I don't say shitty luck. It's just shit, man. Just shit happens. And then they brought her back, and the second we started seeing those vignettes, dude, about her on the boat and just like living the lavish life, that's okay. If you want her to be a bad guy and you want her to continuously get booed and just never deviate from this queen character, then okay, fine. Fine. But if you are having a presentation like that and then you're expecting her to come back and get cheered and for people to have sympathy for her, like no. Like okay, you just showed me video packages of her on a yacht, of her living the lavish lifestyle, and then you bring her back and she's telling us verbally how she had just gone through one of the worst like recoveries of her life and all this shit. And it's like I feel for her, but like it's like you see one thing and you hear another. And again, that's nothing on her. It's the presentation. It's the people who are writing for her. Like it was just like a complete 180. I remember saying countless times, like, how am I supposed to feel? Like, am I supposed to be like cheering for her? Like, am I supposed to be like, oh, yes, like that's like goals for me to have a yacht and to like be like buying all this jewelry and shit. Like for me personally, I could give two shits about a yacht. Like I actually would not want to own a yacht, even if I was a millionaire, because I don't want to pay for the maintenance for that shit. I want to pay for the docking fees, the insurance, all that bullshit. No, my luck, someone will get on the yacht and like stub their toe or some shit, and then they're gonna sue me. I don't have time for that, so no, thank you. Like today, I'll pop on a friend's boat really quick and float. When we dock somewhere, I like to float. So, and then I'll get off and I'll help it clean up, and then I'll leave. You know what I mean? So, no, thank you. But with what they're doing with Charlotte now, I think I think the whole Tiffany thing with the 0 and 3, like that portion of it, and then obviously having Tiffany retain like that, I'm glad they didn't deviate from that, very glad. But I think that segment is what really, like, maybe backstage you're like, "Okay, once we get through this Tiffany Stratton, like segment, story, then we're going to reframe the Charlotte character." And I'm on board for it, and I hope they do because I think that they have real potential. I'm not saying she's gonna be like the next Roman Reigns, but I think it could be one of those things where it's like you just push and push and push and push, like Charlotte, like so much. It's like fuck, like no, like this is what we want from her. Like I don't. And with Roman, at least it was one of those things where we wanted him to be a bad guy. With Charlotte, I don't really know what people are bitching about, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really know what people want besides they just really don't want her in the title scene. So that's why I was saying if you do this and you continue to do other stories that have her involved in anything but the women's championship, I think it's a win-win because she's one of those where she doesn't need to win a Royal Rumble, a Money in the Bank briefcase, Queen of the Ring. Like she can literally just be Charlotte and end up challenging for the championship if they need someone. So I hope that they handle with care going forward. But again, going back to the main event because I realized I accidentally skipped that match, with Naomi. I'm happy. I know you ain't happy with it, bro. I'm happy that they had Naomi cash in. Again, I was like I discussed, I was not happy with the fact that she didn't win. That's just me personally. Um, the no holds barred match, but I think it's dope. I was thinking earlier, like I wonder if we're gonna get any type of like tease with the Tiffany Strat and Trish Stratus match, and we did it. I thought about it maybe once with the Rhea match, but didn't. It was just the thought of Naomi, not of like actually like any serious thought. And I dig it. I dig it. I like how it separates, like I mentioned earlier, it separates the three of them, Naomi, Bianca, and Jade. It has Naomi go on Raw and be her own woman, dude. Be her own champion, not have to worry about Jade challenging her, Bianca challenging her. Just going out there and doing her own shit and interacting with a completely new pool, developing and really taking this new version of her character to the next level. Whether that ends up hitting or not, 100%, like to be determined. You know what I mean? You don't know unless you try. But I like it. I like how she did successfully cash in. I was not gonna lie, I was a little bit nervous. But I like it. I'm here for it. I actually like too that she cashed in during the match. I like that we didn't have Rhea Ripley win the match, for instance, and then Naomi cash in immediately after, or have Io win. It is one of those things where it's like, okay, are we really going to have this badass of a match go on and then have a quote unquote cheap ending? But I don't know. Like, I am kind of torn on that still. Again, this is why I kind of like to sit on some matches and then talk about it maybe like the next day or so. But immediately thinking like I dig the cash in, but that match was just so good. Like I really would have loved to see who would have taken the W there. So well done though. Well done to everyone involved. And well done to you all for joining me here late in the evening. I appreciate you guys. Like I said, there's a shit ton of review shows that you could be watching. So I appreciate you popping in here. A lot of you guys are watching on Twitter and Twitch. I appreciate that. So yeah, and if you're watching in the future, I appreciate you as well. Drop your comment so I can check it out and see what you guys have to say. We'll be winding down here though. Like I said, it is about almost 12:30 here, and gotta get to work in the morning. So I appreciate you guys for popping in though. Like I said. Yeah, K Smith, you said you don't see them doing EO and Rhea at SummerSlam. I don't either, but that's what Jackie Redmond wants. You said, are they doing 15 PLEs this year? I have no idea what their count is up to, bro. No fucking idea. Okay, Smooth, you said, Ash, I like how random you are. I'm random myself. I appreciate you, bro. I figured. That's why you people are my people. That's why I fucks with you guys. Yeah, facts. Yachts are for the 1%. So how am I supposed to feel bad for, or sympathize or relate for with someone who's on a fucking yacht? Come on, bro. But yeah, guys, thank you, Rewind. I appreciate you for popping in for sure, and I will do my best to get good old Elvis on here visually for you for SummerSlam. So we'll see. We'll see about that. K Smith, you said I love Naomi cashing in and winning. Yeah, dude, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I think it's gonna be fun to see what she does going forward. I think they should open up Monday with her and have her go out there, have a little promo, and go from there. I do need to catch up on Saturday night's main event. I heard that that Goldberg got cut off. That's terrible. But I need to watch that in its entirety. I saw the match, but I didn't see that. I didn't see his speech at all. So maybe I turned it off too soon. I don't know, but I got to go back and check that out, and then catch the hour that I missed when I was still watching All In. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. Like I said, if you're here watching on YouTube If you would like, definitely subscribe and like the show here. That's cool. I'd appreciate that. If you're watching on Twitter, I appreciate you as well, and of course on Twitch. It's Sunday night, guys. Tomorrow's the start, or depending on where you're at in the world, you've already started your Monday. Technically, it is Monday right now, but you've already started your work week. So thank you guys for at least ending your weekend or starting your week with me. I appreciate you as always. Until next time, guys, stay safe, enjoy some wrestling out there, and be nice to each other, guys. Like, got a lot of crazy shit going on in the world. We don't need to be assholes for no reason. Now, unless someone's an asshole to you, then stand up for yourself. But no reason, just be a dick for no reason. But until next time, guys, stay safe out there and enjoy some wrestling. Take care.